Are we gonna get it? Let's see. Maybe. I've only gotten one so far. Well, hello guys, this is Jam. I am throwing up the first video here and wanted to do a little bit of an introduction into my tower before I start doing like progress updates and things. We're gonna go over everything in it, do some module pulls. I've dumped a lot into this particular featured banner and still haven't gotten what I want. Nothing, still nothing. Yeah, oh boy. And hopefully today we'll see what we can get. Just a quick little bit of background. I have been playing the tower for a while. Started May 6th, 2022. Did not start it very heavily at the time. I used to work in the film industry as a rigger, and so I was just kind of playing it during downtime. Didn't really get heavy into it until probably early last year, I think, and so 2024 is when I bought the ad pack. Prior to that, I wasn't super heavy into it. I did most of my tournaments, didn't really know what I was doing, just kind of maxed everything, didn't really pay attention and know how to actually play the game effectively. So yeah, I've got 18 little Q, lifetime as you can see, 33,000 stones, all earned in tournaments and similar things. I've not purchased any stones, just the ad pack and coin bonuses. I bought all of those. So I've unlocked every tier, gotten all the milestones up through tier 13. I haven't tried tier 14 in a while. Might be ready to do that again. I'm not sure. We'll have to give it a try and see what happens. I'm usually farming in tier 11. I was doing tier 10, but recently it just took too long and it started to become more effective for me to farm in tier 11, both for cells and coins. Kind of experimented a little bit in tier 12, but not as much. It's just not quite as effective for me yet, but I think I'm close to moving up to there. So that's it for that. I'm gonna skip a few waves. Let's jump into, claim those. We're gonna jump into the workshop. So this is what I normally run for farming. I've got my damage set at, it was at 5,500. I dumped some random coins into it recently, so it's kind of an odd number right now. Devo everything as far as attack speed, multi-shot, bounce shot as that. I usually run an Orbless Devo for most of my run, adding in Spotlight missiles and then eventually Smart missiles and eventually Chain Lightning until I can't kill things fast enough anymore before they start to kill me, and then I'll throw on the orbs at the very end. Sometimes I will at the end of my run. What do I do at the end of my run? Yeah, at the end of my run, sometimes I'll just turn everything on and let it finish like that just to get a few more waves, but it drops the coins so much I hold out as long as I can. I don't put anything into Rend Armor or Rend Armor Multiplier. The only reason I have those unlocked at all is for Poison Swamp. I probably don't even need to do that because I don't turn Poison Swamp on until late in the run, just to add a little bit of extra damage so I can push my other ultimates a little bit further. And I also max out crit chance to begin with. I've played with it minimal and it's fine. It gives me a little bit more coin early on, but it also requires a whole lot more micromanagement. And even though I'm sitting at my desk or on my phone all day, I forget to manage it, so it's just more effective for me to leave crit chance maxed. Okay, on for health. Again, I played Devo. I usually, yeah, these are set at 5,500 each, just to make it easy to max them out at the end of the run. No knockback chance, no thorns. I do turn knockback on partway through the run just to help out a little bit. It really doesn't do anything because I've got permanent black hole. We'll talk about that in a minute. Let's see, Devo and everything here, and then of course Deathify and Landmine Radius are maxed. Wall Rebuild I probably could max, I haven't. And wall health currently set at 1,000. Wouldn't mind it being a little higher, I just didn't bother this last time I respec. And again, max everything, Devo the free ups, and I think I've got both of these set at 350. Yeah, that's where they're at for now. I would like to pump those a little bit higher, but just haven't yet. Currently for my attack enhancements, I'm running 70 on crit chance and crit factor and crit multiplier, and then 64 on damage at the moment. And then I have my attack speed at 20. I don't know that I really need that much attack speed. By the time I max out my attack speed in my run, I'm not doing enough damage to take anything out with projectiles. So it's probably not necessary to be that high, but that's just where I've been keeping it. I don't have anything in rend or damage per meter. Rend armor is only going to do something for me with my poison swamp. We'll talk about that in a second, but I don't really see a difference in it in my farming runs. I do bump it up in tournaments though. And then for defense, I've currently got these all at 63. It seems to be working fine for me now. I would like to pump a little bit more into that, but I've kind of made some mistakes along the way. We'll talk about that more in depth in another video, or if you guys want to talk about it in the comments, feel free to drop them and criticize me. I can take it. With defense absolute, landmine damage, and orb size, I just haven't bothered. I don't use my orbs for my farming except for at the very end of the run, if then, so I don't see it helping me right now. Maybe later. And then for utility, I've got 136 and 131 for cells and coin bonus, nothing in free ups or recovery, and then 65 on the cash bonus, as you can see. And I'd like to put some more in enemy level skips, but I just haven't. I probably should, though. I'm currently saving for my last one, which will be inner landmines for me. Almost there. This next tournament, or this next week, will get me really close, and if maybe I decide to spend a little bit of money, even though I don't really want to, you know how it goes. But it's kind of the only hobby I have, so maybe I will. I don't know. We'll see. I might buy a stone pack or something and get to it a little bit sooner, but I'm really close. I do really want that, though, mostly because I need Golden Tower Plus. Chain Lightning, that was my main damage dealer for a while in my tournament, so I pushed that a little bit harder than I probably should have. And for tournaments, these stats are a lot different because I have some substats. My smart missiles, though, that was my second to last ultimate weapon. I picked Chain Lightning over it. And on the one hand, I think that was a good move for me for tournaments initially because the investment is so much less in Chain Lightning, and I think I would probably recommend that to people a lot of times just because Chain Lightning is so good right now with Dimension Core. My smart missiles, when I finally did unlock them second to last, I just immediately dumped everything into cooldown and a little bit into damage and quantity. I do want to put more into both of those. I'm going to wait though until after I get GT+. So with this, I do have substats that are buffing these two. I kind of wish I hadn't put so much into damage, but it is what it is. For Chrono Field, I really need to put more into speed reduction. That is really hurting me. I know it is. I've just been an idiot. Definitely have to max that out, or at least get it up to 60 or 70. I think max 90, maybe? I forget. And my duration is fine for now. I mostly use G-Comp, so this really doesn't hurt me any, except for in the duration battle condition. It kind of hurts then. Okay, Golden Tower, I definitely need to put more into bonus. Again, I've kind of been just slacking off on that. Probably should drop a couple into it even now. I'll wait until after I save up for GT+, and then I'll dump some more into bonus. I think I'm happy with the duration for the moment. I've got 100% uptime on it, which is fine for now, with G-Comp at least. But I will be dumping more into that as soon as, or after getting GT+. And then with Poison Swamp, I've not done much into damage, but I did, right after this most recent rework, I dumped a lot into the duration and cooldown, which I think it only took a couple of tournaments, maybe like 2 weeks, to get those balanced out. And that has been a huge help in my tournament runs to give me a lot more CC and help a lot with bosses. That's been great. And Black Hole, I do have a substat on my size. I do want to max it out. We'll get to it eventually. And I think I would like to put a couple more into duration, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. It's 100% uptime, so I'm not really that worried about it at the moment. And then my Spotlight, I don't think I'm going to put any more into angle or bonus at the moment. I want to get the 4th Spotlight first, mostly just so that I have more coverage for economy. I think having not as much Spotlight coverage is hurting my economy a pretty good bit right now. So I do want to get that 4th spotlight and some more angle. What I might do, I've considered, is after I get GT Plus and get a couple of levels into that, bumping up my angle to like 60, and then, which this is what the substat, I believe, whatever the ancestral substat is. I can't remember. I want to say it's 15 degrees, I think. But I want to get that to 60. That'll give me 50% coverage right now. But I would really like to get that 4th spotlight. I think that would be a big help for me. I've got everything maxed out. I did get Demon Mode Mastery, and I've got that up to the 3rd level, I think. We'll check when we get to labs. I think it's at the 2.5 times. And that helped me a lot when I got it. I don't really regret getting it, but I don't have the economy to support masteries really yet. It takes, well, at the time, it took me about a week. Now it takes me about, on average, it's 5.5, 600 trillion a day. Depends on tournament days, and then it depends on what time my runs end. Sometimes my overnight runs only get me about 140, depending on when I have to start it. Especially if I have to start it right before I go to bed, it's almost not even worth it at that point. It's almost better to wait the 6 hours till I wake up and then start my run. But yeah, so I've got 20 slots. This is what I usually run for my farming runs. Just kind of playing around with Second Wind and Nuke right now. They're not really needed. They probably don't really get me a whole lot further, but I've got the slots, so I put them in. And I do also put on attack speed as well. And then towards the end of the run, I'll swap cash for extra orbs. And sometimes I'll throw slow. I was throwing slow on at the end of the run, at the very end, when I didn't have... What is it called? When I wasn't running Second Wind. I probably don't need Energy Shield either. I don't think it really helps me because when things go south, they go south fast. So it's probably a wasted slot. Again, I've got the slots. No reason to not put it on there. Yeah. I think Super Tower Mastery is going to be my next mastery. I'm not 100% sure on that. I think that's going to help me a lot. I really want to get RPC Mastery and Enemy Balance, but I know long-term Recovery Package Chance is going to help me the most, probably, at least as far as progression goes, but I really think Super Tower is going to help a lot in tournaments, but I don't want to bother doing that until I have the economy to be able to max it out in the lab. And right now, I don't really have that capability without spending, 4 or 5 days saving. Well, I guess it's really not that bad. Either way, I'm not going to spend 1,000 stones on it right now. I'll wait until at least after I get GT Plus, and then maybe that'll be my next thing after that. That might work. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see on that one. For my tournaments, this is pretty much what I run without changing. Super Tower's there just because they have the slot. And it's going to go in there anyways, eventually, so that's why it's there. It does probably absolutely nothing for me in tournaments right now. I'll show you my tournament history after this. Second Wind is helpful, definitely. Energy Shield is definitely a must-have. There's extra orbs, all my damage stuff. Death Ray, yay or nay, depends on the battle conditions, but the slot's there, so that's where it goes. And then, yeah, I don't run any health stuff. I do full glass cannon for tournaments. When I switch to that, you get one shot after about wave 500 and legend anyways, probably earlier than that. So even with 98%, well, you can't get 98%. Even with max defense percent, EHP is useless in Legends, in my opinion. But that helped a lot when I went away from EHP entirely. And then towards the end of my tournament runs, I'll start swapping wave skip in and out to kind of preserve my energy shields a little bit longer and hopefully skip a few bosses. And then recovery package chance, that's in there if I'm using G-Comp. If I'm not using G-Comp, because I do run with project funding sometimes, I'll take that out and swap it for something. I don't remember what. I think I usually put the range card on instead. I don't remember. It really doesn't help me that much other than with G-Comp for tournament runs. Okay, modules. Yeah, I think my modules are pretty good overall. This is what I normally run for my farming setup. I finally managed to get the Ancestral Galaxy Compressor. That took forever, and I haven't really bothered re-rolling it beyond just getting these 3 ancestral stats because I'm close to getting everything to 161, which I'm actually saving right now because I'm almost finished with the last Shatter Shards level. We'll talk about that in a minute. And I really want to save my reroll shards, mostly for my core. I have Ancestral on both Astral Deliverance and Being Annihilator. The only reason I'm using Being Annihilator is because it's a 5-star. And then my Astral Deliverance, Astral Deliverance is only a 2-star. So I just haven't bothered getting better stats on it because I get a little bit better damage with the Being Annihilator. And I'm kind of bouncing back and forth right now between Negative Mass Projector and Wormhole Redirector because I think I'm getting about the same results with the two. Not a huge difference that I can tell. I do have 1% more of defense on the Wormhole Redirector, but again, I haven't re-rolled anything in a while because I'm right at the 161. As soon as Shatter Shards Lab finishes, I'll probably get it, and then I'll do some re-rolling then. And I have not gotten more Sharp Fortitude, otherwise I would be running that. 8,000 gems when it came out, and I got a grand total of 1. For 8,000 gems, 4 epics total. I got an Astral Deliverance, the 1 Sharp Fortitude, and I got a Dimension Core, and I can't remember what the last one was. It might have been a Wormhole Redirector. I'm actually working on getting a second Ancestral Dimension Core because I've got a 5-star one. That was actually my first 5-star, and I've gotten 2 since then, which is crazy. Funny enough. So let's see. These are the substats I've got on my Being Annihilator currently. Again, I'm waiting to re-roll this one for when I get 161 unlocked. Multiverse Nexus, that's what I run for farming. Again, I just was the best thing I'd rolled at the time. Overall, I think this works pretty well for me. I would like to have Golden Tower Duration instead of Black Hole Size, although I do think the Black Hole Size has benefited me. Most of my run, though, I spend with minimal range, so it's not really that big of a help. Only the end of my run, when I open everything up, does that come in handy. Okay, so for my tournament setup, I usually throw in Dimension Core, and I'm pretty happy with my Dimension Core right now. As I said, it's a 5-star, and these are the substats I'm working with currently. I love the Smart Missile substats. I do plan to change the Chain Lightning damage for more slow on my Chrono Field. I'm waiting a little bit longer until I get my Smart Missiles just a little bit more developed, just so that I can rely on my Chain Lightning damage a little bit less. Right now, most bosses are still dying to Smart Missiles or Death Penalty in tournaments, but I do still get a lot of damage from my Chain Lightning. So for now, I'm going to keep it. Again, I plan to change that for slow or spotlight multiplier. We'll see what happens when I unlock the next level and what I get there. If I can get the slow there, I'll probably hang on to this a little bit longer and then go for the spotlight multiplier. We'll see. And for my core... Brain not work. Armor module. For my armor module, I run ACP, of course, and I want to re-roll this a little bit more, but the main 3 that I want are here. I do want that Ancestral Death Defy stat, though. That would be very beneficial. I think my last tournament I had 44 death defies in like 700 waves. So that did pretty well for me. And lastly, for tournaments, I run my death penalty, which is a 1-star. I need to do a little bit more re-rolling on that, but again, I'm waiting for the moment. Every now and then I'll try running project funding, but because I don't have an ancestral one, I'm not getting as much benefit from the damage, so I don't think it's helping me enough. Usually, I will run my tournament at least twice, once with Galaxy Compressor and once with project funding, because I have had a couple of tournaments where I got a little further. I think my first tournament with project funding, I got an extra like 100 waves, but since then it's been as many as 200 waves short of Galaxy Compressor. I think it's just because now I've got my CC is so good with my Galaxy Compressor with permanent black hole. I don't have permanent black hole or permanent chrono field with project funding, and I think that's what's hurting me the most. Still haven't gotten an ancestral pulsar harvester, but I never use it, so I did try it a while back for milestone runs and it didn't seem to help me. I'll probably try it again once I get it to ancestral. We'll see. Once I get inner landmines in the near future, I do want to play around with Space Displacer. That was actually my first ancestral module period, and as you can see, I've gotten quite a few of them. But right now it's useless for me, so I haven't touched it in a long time. I did get an ancestral shrink ray, only for the simple chance that maybe they'll rework it at some point and it becomes good. I've never used it, never rolled it, nothing. But hey, maybe one day they'll surprise me. Other than that, I think the only other thing I want to do is let's pull some modules. I've been saving my gems again, and I don't think we're supposed to be getting a new module this time around in our featured banner. So we're going to do some pulls and see what we get. I've already spent, like I said, somewhere between 8,000 and 9,000 gems and got one. So maybe we'll get lucky. Let's see, and it expires tomorrow, so that's why I really want to get that done. See what we get. Nothing! Nothing! Still nothing! Oh boy. Yeah. The Shrink Ray featured banner, my luck was great. I think I spent like 5,000 or 6,000 gems and got that plus a bunch of other stuff. In fact, I think that's when I got my, oh, there we go. Finally got one. Jeez. That's when I finally got my ancestral G-Comp. I was sitting on needing the last G-Comp for like 6 or 7 months. Took forever to get it. Hey, there we go. 3. Yippee. So far, the 50-50. Oh, there's a death penalty. I'll take that. That might actually... Does that give me enough? I can't remember if I already have... Yeah, wait. I already had 2. Why have I not already merged those? What? Oh, okay, they're just not up there. Got it. Okay. Yeah, so that'll give me another star on my death. I'm only doing this because I can and I want to. Yay. And where is death penalty? There it is. I shall take that. Keep going. Yippee, 4. Okay, luck is getting better. I'd say streamer luck, but I haven't streamed in, 4 years? Something like that? It's been a while. There we go, there we go. I'm happy with that. Okay, still nothing there. There we go. That might actually be enough. I've already lost count. I forgot how many we're at. We're at 6 now. hopefully these last 3,000 gems will be nice enough to us and get us the last one. There we go, 7. One more. 8. Boom! Got it to Ancestral. Sweet. So. And then, yep, confirm. So as you can see, when they introduced the new modules, I took the time to go in and have all the fodder already ready for when I needed it to upgrade. Oh, yay. And we'll do that. And there we go. So, I'll be switching to that on my next run, if I can get some good substats for it. I guess we can pull some more and see if from the regular banner and see if we can get that last. See, how many more project funding? I need 3 more project fundings. Let's do that. We'll just pull from the standard banner. Let's look at the specs. Yep, won't get Being Annihilator or Dimension Core. So I kind of want to get an Ancestral Magnetic Hook just to have it. Beyond that, I don't really care. And I would like to get a couple more stars on my Galaxy Compressor. So let's just see what we get. I've got 2K gems left. Let's go for it. Not that one, this one. I really wish you could do buy again on the 200 gem one. We'll go ahead and pull the rest. I keep wanting to pull the wrong banner. Wow. Wow. Just give me, oh, yeah, okay, chip, whatever. I mean, to my knowledge, is there a more useless? Well, I guess it does have its uses in early stages if you've only got a single. Yeah, okay. Well, it's not the end of the world. I do need to merge a ton. I guess I will auto-merge these because I'm going to run out of space very soon. So in my labs, I'm currently running Core Effect Band level 3 because, like I showed you, I'm almost to level 161 and I'm going to need to do a lot of rerolls, so I wanted to get those extra core bands. Such a pain. Shatter Shards 5 is over halfway done. I might save up and just rush the rest of it. I haven't fully decided yet. We'll see how things go. And then aside from that, I'm just kind of catching up into some other labs that I've wanted to, but haven't taken the time to go into. I think these two are going to help me long term. I don't think they're really doing much for me right now, but eventually, and I'm not using the slots as actively at the moment, so we're just going with it. And that's such a freaking long lab. I probably won't max it out. We'll see how it goes. Getting close on crit factor though. All right, now we'll jump in here. Let me take off hide completed. Okay, so I maxed out my shockwave size and I always bump that up all the way for my tournaments. I'm still playing around kind of with the distances, but for me right now, max is what's most useful. And then I've got my range to 32. I never bump it up. I try it every now and then in tournaments, but I haven't really found it really helped me very much. Using just base range usually helps better. Or if I put on the range card, that does what I need it to do. I don't know. I probably need to play around with it more. I think that'll be more beneficial for me when I get my chrono field better and I'm able to hold bosses in that zone a little bit longer. Max game speed, of course. If you haven't done that, do it. And I put a lot into these early on. Doing utility discount would probably help me out a lot, but I haven't. I did max out all of those. Very worth it in my opinion. Lab speed level max. People say that it's not worth it to permalab that. I don't really agree. Play the game how you want, but I think it makes a big difference. So that's my thoughts on it. Do with it what you will. Do I have a penny around here? Yeah, no pennies. Honestly, target priority, I feel like it almost causes more problems than it solves. because I don't know how much it really matters in a lot of cases, at least where I'm at, and maybe I'm wrong with thinking that. Sometimes, you know, I change everything all the time. But for the most part, I'm either using Spotlight or Closest. Depending on the battle condition, I'll throw something else up at the top. Otherwise, I don't really change it. It's either Closest or... you know, sometimes I'll put Elites on the top, because at certain times I do die to Rays especially. Alrighty, maxed out my attack speed. Love it. Although, you know, with the enhancement, I don't think it's as imperative anymore. I do need to finish up my damage level. It's got a ways to go, but we'll get it there eventually. And I did max my Rend armor multiplier when the Poison Swamp rework happened recently, because I'm noticing a lot of extra damage from Poison Swamp, surprisingly. Even though my Poison Swamp damage level is not very high, at high level, or high for me, levels, so maybe we'll say 500 and up, I've noticed Poison Swamp doing like 40% damage on bosses, which seems a bit crazy to me considering how much damage, or how much more damage I'm doing with my Smart Missiles and Chain Lightning. So that's a little crazy to me. So I've made the effort to max that lab out. And then as far as defense goes, you know, I probably should have pushed these a little bit harder for EHP, but I got them up to there, and same with my wall health stuff. And I was like, you know what, this isn't really going to help me out that much longer. I'm going to eventually be going to Glass Cannon. Let me focus more on Glass Cannon labs. So that's kind of what I've been doing. Though I am working these currently. And I did just yesterday, I think yesterday, or the day before, gold boxed wall invincibility modules. Good freaking God. About pissed myself. Hold that. Back to it. With the introduction of Sharp Fortitude, now that I've got it to Ancestral, I'm going to start playing with it more. You know, if that's going to let me run EHP a whole lot longer, maybe I'll dump some more time into these if I'm not using the slots for something else. But don't need any more in defense percent. With an Ancestral substat, that gives me the cap of 98%. And wall fortification probably would be beneficial with Sharp Fortitude. Cash bonus, I'd like to get that higher up, not in a hurry on it. And I did gold box coins per kill. These things I leveled when I first started playing the game, and then when I realized how little effect it actually had, I stopped. Gold boxed those. I think this was a good thing to gold box, and I think this is extremely important, and I think that package chance level is extremely important, unless you don't care about using G-Comp. I think it helps a lot. That extra 4% is good. And then now we'll get to our ultimate weapons. That took forever, but that was as soon as I unlocked Chrono Field, that lab was permanent, and it took a long time. I think I finished that long before cells were introduced into the game. Very important. Might be worth it to finish this out if I stay EHP for a while. Not really that fussed about it right now. And I dumped a lot of time into Poison Swamp with the new rework on it. Helped a lot, I think. And I might push Swamp Radius a little bit more, but right now I don't... you know, I've got mixed feelings about it. Sometimes it stuns stuff too far out to be hit by anything, except for Chain Lightning and missiles, which probably isn't really a bad thing, so maybe I'll put more into that later. Obviously maxed out the Golden Tower stuff. Again, as soon as I unlocked Golden Tower, those were perma-labbed and until they were gold boxed. I do want to get more into Shock Chance. Probably would be more beneficial than some of the labs I've got running right now, but we'll leave it as it is for now. And I really want... I don't really care about... Well, Blast Radius would be helpful, but I want the rotation and the stun. That's why I need ILN. I think that'll help a lot in my tournaments. Yeah. And then we'll play around with Space Displacer once I get those unlocked. And then, of course, I maxed out my Chrono Field range. All of my missile labs got maxed, except for... What is it? Despawn time. When do missiles ever last long enough for that? Let's see... Black hole labs are all maxed. And I maxed the Swamp Rend. I want to dump more into this, the time and the cost. When I hit that level, I didn't have the coin to keep going. I'm staying above that now, just dumping it into my workshop, so I'll probably start that back up in the next couple of days. I put a little bit into Chain Thunder, probably not really doing anything for me. And I would like to get a couple of more levels into Scatter Amp. I think that would be beneficial. And I also do eventually want to max out my damage amplifier, but I'm not really that worried about it right now because I get better gains after my death wave drops. My coin income almost doubles just because I'm able to kill stuff in the spotlight. Okay, cards research. Probably would be worth it to do that last level in there. I just haven't bothered. I mean, it would take what, a whole couple hours. I do want to max out double death ray though. I think that'll long term be a good thing to have. And I've been working on Super Tower bonus. I took it out a couple days ago and I don't actually remember what I put in place of it. It was either Wall Thorns, Wall Rebuild, or Core Effect Bands that I think it was Core Effect Bands because I knew that wasn't going to take too terribly long. So that'll be done. That'll be done before I go to bed tonight. So I'll swap Super Tower bonus back in for that. I'd like to get that. Ideally, I'd like to max it before I get the mastery. I think that would be really helpful. But if I don't, I don't. And then I did max these out. I wonder why that says 2,000. That's got to be a bug. I don't use this right now, but when I get the mastery for it, I'll want it. And I kind of want to throw a little bit into here because sometimes I goof up and I let it die earlier in the run than I should. And so I think that might be helpful. Don't really care enough to do it right at this moment. Yeah, so level 3 is my next level for Demon Mode Mastery. I thought that's what it was. As far as perks go, gold boxed those. I'd like to get another level or two into band perks, just not really that fussed about it. And yeah, whatever on wave required. Truthfully, at this point, it probably doesn't matter at all. Yeah, maybe if I have an extra slot one day, I'll put more into it. But I maxed out my golden bot. Kind of hurt me for a while, but you know, it is what it is. Now it doesn't matter, so we're good. And started on my amp bot labs, even though I'm not using amp bot. We'll look at the bots in just a second. And I did start the labs on it though, and I will finish those eventually, but I'll probably start them back up here in the next couple of weeks. I've done nothing at all for enemies. I do want to. Don't really care about some of the attack stuff, but I do want to take off some boss health, protector health, and fast speed. Those freaking fasts just ramming bosses down your throat. Ugh. And then for my modules, I maxed those 3 immediately, and then pretty soon after it did the drop chance. Module shard cost I did more recently. That helped a lot. I think when I did that, I went from level 5 to 30. Is it 30 levels? Yeah. I think I went from either 5, right around, single digit levels to 30. And when I redid my modules, I want to say I gained 10 or 15 waves. It was a lot. So if you haven't done that, do it and then reset your modules. Go in and restore level and then re-upgrade it. It'll get you a lot more. Very worth it. And yeah, and then I dropped one on each of those. Didn't bother with generator because I don't really bother getting all the substats on generator usually anyways. So that's where that's at. But core and armor have been a big deal. Armor's been a pain in the butt for me. I've had the hardest time with armor substats. They never want to give them to me. But the core effect bands, they're helpful. And I did buy the event boost this time. They've just been so good. A lot of good ones. Coin increase, bot range, all kinds of good stuff have been showing up in the event boosts. Plus, it's helped me with my bot. Okay. When I first started playing, I bought a lot of these. Probably not a good idea, but I did. Okay, so golden bot. Just gold boxed cooldown last night, I think. It was either last night or the day before, but I'm pretty sure it was yesterday. Maybe not, because I've got almost enough to go up a level in that. So maybe I didn't gold box it. Maybe it was Saturday. And then Like I said, next up will be Amp Bot. That'll probably be maybe a month, 3 weeks, month. Depends on if I buy the event boost again. And last, I love the cherry. As you can see, I have a thing for cherry blossoms. They've been my favorite for years. I'm a big anime nerd, and I love Sakura, the plant, not necessarily the character. Though Sakura's pretty cool in the show. One of these days, right there will be a bonsai cherry tree. I just haven't been able to get my freaking Sakura trees to propagate. I've got 6 of them, and I can't get a cutting to live. I don't have much of a green thumb. So Harmony Tree, I've been working my way up. I got that recently, went ahead and got that. Mostly, the only reason I went ahead and got this is because I was always missing it in tournaments because I'd be killed by either a ranged or I wasn't paying attention. And so I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to spend the what are they called? Keys. I'm just going to spend the keys and unlock it to auto nuke on death. And that helped a lot. It did. And then I think not this past tournament, but last week or the week before, got the last level of respecs. I'm not going to spring for the presets yet. I'll do that later. I kept going up the tree, and I do want to get these. In fact, that's probably the next thing I'm going to spring for is that, or I'm going to work my way up to the damage slider. I want that damage slider. I think that would be nice. And of course, obviously haven't done anything here, and I have not touched the power tree at all. I probably should. It would probably help me a lot. I just haven't. I really want what is that one even? Yeah, I really want the coin stuff, but the power tree is just so expensive right now for me that I don't really feel like it's worth it for me yet. I think it's better for me to keep going up the tree and get some of the stuff I've done. Maybe 1 or 2 card slots. Yeah, I kind of want that, but at the same time, I don't think it's worth it for me. I don't know. I think I'll do some card slots and probably get to at least the damage slider, maybe the orb adjuster, I don't know, and then start working on the power tree. Let me know in the comments if you think that's stupid and I should just go ahead and start working on the power tree. I'm undecided. I don't really know what I should do. That's kind of why I just kept going up the middle. So I've been dumping into steel, and as of right now, I think it's getting me like maybe 0.5%, if that. I think the most I've seen out of it in a single run was 1 trillion on somewhere between 280 and 300 trillion run. That wouldn't even be 0.5%. And then as far as fetch goes, I put a little bit into it, and I think I'm probably maxing the caps out on the important stuff. Really all I care about for it's the metals. Beyond that, the rest of the stuff is just me. Since they nerfed the coins on it, they need to buff steel a little bit more. It needs to actually be doing something. Right now, my golden bot's getting me an extra like 50%, roughly. 45-50%. And steel is getting next to nothing, as I said. And in the store, got all the skins except for the second Guardian skin, and I still need fancy wires. That 2% regen might be beneficial for me right now, but I wanted to get the coin stuff first, so I'll get that, and then we'll get fancy wires, and then everything else will just go into probably bits, and then if I have any more room, the other stuff. Always start with perk rave requirement reduction, most important one you can have. I fluctuate on this. If I'm doing a milestone run and going glass cannon, I will add all of these back in and take out anything that buffs my enemies, like the 50-50, or hurts me rather. But for my farming runs right now, this is what I'm running. That seems to be the most effective for me right now. But whenever I'm doing glass cannon, I'll take this one out because it's usually the bosses that are killing me. Sometimes the rays, but usually it's bosses. So I don't really want to sacrifice that. When I get my chrono field better, this will probably be a little bit more helpful because I'll be killing them with orbs instead. Definitely ban that for my milestone runs. I usually ban that one because even though the health, it just, the health reduction is not worth the speed increase. Is that all I ban for milestone? Or maybe it is. I forget. I haven't done one in a while. I probably should. And then I've got auto perks set up and I put a bunch into it. I don't use it except for in my overnight runs, and then it doesn't really matter. This last tournament got a PB. Actually, 3 tournaments in a row, actually, because for a while, 555 was my best. And then these last 3 tournaments, I got PBs. But the brackets were terrible. I think this one, the 10th place spot, was still over 1,000 waves. And then this one was a pretty good bracket for me. I was really close. I think 7th place was 699, but I ran it again. I think I ran it 3 times total, and I just couldn't beat my original 694. So I didn't waste the time or gems to do it again. But I've been kind of bouncing around depending on the bracket, anywhere from, I had a couple of 14ths back to back. And I think my best run was this one. Still was only 434 waves, but I got a good spot. That one was rough. I don't remember the specifics on that one, but that one was rough. And I think it's been, when did I last? Yeah, I guess I have not dropped since Legend League was introduced. I went up the second one, I guess, and I just haven't been down since. It was never worth it for me. If you can stay. You got the chance of getting medals, and you're going to get better stones. If we look at prizes for Legend, the lowest level to stay and not get demoted is 225 stones. If you get demoted, so that's 450 for 2 tournaments. If you get demoted, you get 120. And then if you get first the next time, you still get 440. So you still get more stones by staying in Legend. And that's only if you can get first place. If you're just staying in the top couple to go up, you're getting way less stones. So if you can stay in Legends, it's better. Plus, you've always got a chance of maybe getting up to 15th and getting your 2 keys. And let me know in the comments if you guys want me to start live streaming my tournaments. I don't know that I can do all of them right at this moment, but I think I would like to start streaming them. Probably maybe early to midday, day after they start. Eastern time is usually when I run my tournaments, so maybe we'll start doing a Wednesday, Saturday coffee stream. Drink some coffee, run the tournament. So let me know what you think. Anyways, guys, I'll catch you later. You can watch a video of me talking about the mistakes I've made over here, and we'll see you next time.